Hello and welcome back to Filmmakers Unleashed. My name is Finn, your beautiful host, and today I'm joined once again by Robert.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, there he is. Yeah, look alive, Robert. And Jaden.
Hello,
Yeah,
I'm back.
yeah, he's back. Well, the boys are back. The boys are back in town.
Everyone's back. We're all
Everyone's
back.
back. We're all back. I'm telling you now, I've kind of timed this podcast not brilliantly because I have not long got out the shower, so I'm sitting here at my desk, wet hair, and a little towel around me. So you lads, you're very lucky that my webcam isn't on. Otherwise, this would be a very
Yeah,
different podcast.
we might have to upload this up to OnlyFans, not YouTube.
Just Filmmakers Unleashed,
Oh, yeah.
director's cut.
Director's cut on OnlyFans.
But you know,
Right.
it's
Yeah, you gotta pay top dollar for that, guys.
yeah, that's all of your listeners. Well, if we have any listeners, yeah, at this point they've turned it off. They've turned it off at this point. Yeah, all your listener money is going towards our OnlyFans. If you can't tell, yeah, this bit's definitely going to get
Yeah.
cut out. Yeah.
Definitely.
Right. So how have we been? How have we been, fellas? Boys are back. Well, how have we been?
Oh, you go first, Mr. Robbie boy.
Oh, no, I'm done. Dead. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, you're done. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but,
I'm doing great.
A word of advice: sound like you want to be here, both of you. It sounds like I've dragged you both. I know I've dragged Rob out of bed to be here. Jaden, look alive.
I mean, I'm the same as you, Finn. I've just had a shower, bro.
Have you really? Are you sitting at your?
Yes.
Have you got a towel around you as well?
No, unfortunately, no.
Oh, you're more prepared than me. I'm meant to be the host here, and I'm sitting
I know,
here.
yeah, I know.
Literally, I'd pop a little pair of pants on, but it's like I'm not dry enough for that yet. So it just sticks to me like it just sticks to my side. It won't be brilliant. Right, should we talk about Guardians 3
Yeah.
now?
Probably.
Yeah.
But it's what they talk about.
I could just imagine if we had a bigger budget, we'd get that a bit animated.
We would. Didn't want to be
Yeah.
animated. So,
So,
Oh,
come on,
look,
guys. OnlyFans money. Come on.
OnlyFans money, yeah. There's we'll drop a link in the description. It was drop a link in the description, and give us money. Give us your money. Yeah, I think
Give
that's
us
quite
money
OnlyFans.
now. We
Yeah.
need it, please. I'm begging
yeah.
you guys,
I think that should
please.
be the subtitle for the podcast. Filmmakers Unleashed. Give us your money.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Oh,
That
yeah.
sounds great.
Oh no, that's EA's, isn't it? Yeah, that's EA's.
Ah, sorry.
Yeah, EA.
Oh,
honest-
wait, no, hang on. No. Filmmakers Unleashed, and then subtitle, give us your money, stash, sponsored by EA.
Sponsored
Which
by
we are
EA.
not, but it's still pretty funny.
Well, we're gonna have to bleep that out now because they'll think that we're sponsored by EA and we'll probably get sued. So we've just lost money from that. So thanks, Jaden. Appreciate that. So and that being
Alright,
We're
said,
guys.
doing about OnlyFans now.
yeah. That being said, we don't have the budget to continue this episode. So
Oh,
yeah,
right.
yeah,
See you guys later,
yeah,
man.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Well,
yeah,
see you
yeah.
guys.
Yeah, if you want to talk about Guardians 3, literally go and watch it. Or what you're doing here, you make your own opinion. Why you want to listen to two?
Yeah, why are you listening to that?
Yeah,
Who?
yeah, just to listen to two dudes who's got out of the shower and Robert who's only just got out of bed. So
I'm always just getting out of bed.
yeah, Robert's always. I've never not seen him tired. I really haven't. He's
No
always.
matter when Finn calls me, I'm always just getting out of bed.
I just want to stick a spike up his arse just to wake him up. Just slap him around the
That's a bit
face. Just go, Robert, wake
Pop it.
up. Wake up. Could you imagine if we were live? This would be terrible. This would be really rubbish. Right, Guardians 3. Okay, let's see. Are we ready? We'll talk about this now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll talk about it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Let's be professional. Hang on. Let me pop a pair of pants on at around 1 o'clock when I start getting
Very
dry.
important.
Yeah.
Shit. Wait, do I need my tie then? Do I need my tie for going professional?
Have you not got your tie on already? I've got mine on.
You
Oh,
had
I've
it
got-
with him in the
Sorry,
car.
guys.
I've got my tie and towel on.
Ah, I missed the memo. Sorry.
Oh, you little Australian bastard! How could you?
I know. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't mean to.
Oh, the sparks are flying. This is brilliant. All right, so I think Guardians 3. Now, MCU, you love it, you hate it at the minute. It's kind of like Marmite. Okay, the Marmite cinematic universe. You can call it what you want, but
Never had one, mate.
yeah. I think recently, to me in general, I've quite enjoyed the MCU. Obviously, there's been a few projects where could have been better. like, you know, Love and Thunder and She-Hulk. But majority of Phase 4, Marvel hasn't left for me. Is from what Twitter is trying to get me to say. Marvel has always been with me after Endgame. You know, no one's. It's never been the case of Marvel died after Endgame. You know, we've had No Way Home since then. We've had Multiverse of Madness. We've had Moon Knight. We've had Loki. We've had Werewolf by Night. Wakanda Forever was absolutely brilliant.
I'm like somewhere in the middle on it. It's like I'm not against it, but I'm also not fully with it. You know?
Yeah. What, have you been disappointed by the past few projects, or you didn't just been like?
It's more so that a lot of these projects that have come out in the past have had like a lot of like potential to be really great. It's just they haven't really hit that mark.
Yeah, yeah, I do agree with you on that.
It's just unfortunate, which is why I think Guardians was such a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, yeah. I think. What about you, Jaden? You've been quite happy, haven't you?
Sometimes, yeah. It's just like for me, like I don't know if it's everyone else, but for me, like say with a movie like I don't know, what's a recent MCU series or show?
Hawkeye or She-Hulk.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's go with Shang-Chi. There we go.
Okay.
That was great, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was that Phase 4?
That was Phase 4, yeah.
Yeah, Phase 4.
Okay. Yeah. So Phase 4, Shang-Chi came out, right? Nearly everyone loved it. They said it was great. But can everyone tell me what came after next?
I believe it was What If.
Okay. Because what I'm trying to get at here is
What
that
else movie-wise do you mean?
yeah, movie-wise. Was it Black Widow or was that beforehand?
Black Widow's before. I think after that was it was Black Widow first, then Shang-Chi, then it was Eternals, like 4 months later, and then it was No Way Home.
Because what I'm trying to get at is that with some of the content they're released for Phase 4, say you've got things for like Shang-Chi, No Way Home, the most of the, or some of the TV series and stuff like that. It is so good. And then everyone says, oh yeah, this is great, and it sets an expectation for the next one, which is not so great.
Didn't they like, with a TV show, I can't remember, but I remember someone hyping one of them up. I can't remember what that was though.
I think we did that with a lot of things and it didn't turn out great.
I think it was possibly Hawkeye, because everyone was so hyped about the Faction Run.
Oh
Yes,
yeah, and Logan Hawkeye because of Kingpin, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was what it was then.
But yeah, which was spoilers if you haven't seen Hawkeye yet, but it's been out for like what? Nearly half a year.
Year and a half, yeah.
I don't know what you're doing.
But are you saying like...
Year and a half?
Yeah, year and a half. Yeah, I mean, Shang-Chi's almost been out for 2 years now.
Oh my god, I feel old.
Yeah, it's mental. But I get what you mean. Do you think, like, Phase 4 had an expectation that was like a bar that had been set like the Endgame era, and then ever since then you think it's gone down by that? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah and no.
Yeah, like, because after Endgame, everyone was like, okay, just leave it at that sort of thing. Then Black Widow came out, everyone was like, oh, that wasn't the best thing. But then Shang-Chi followed that. Yeah. And then, you know, you get your things like What If, and then you get your, like, then you get your new TV shows like, what do you call it? Loki, which was honestly probably one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Then you get like nearly Oscar, like, was it Oscar nominated or Black Panther? Wasn't Oscar nominated?
Black Panther.
Any of the categories?
Black Panther won a few actually. I think it was like got by best costumes.
No, for Black Panther 2.
Yeah, Black Panther. Yeah, Wakanda Forever. Yeah.
Sorry. My monkey brain when he said Black Panther 1, I thought he meant the actual, like, the first Black Panther movie. I was like, no, this is what I'm talking about. No, but you see what I mean, though?
I see what you mean, yeah. I think it has... This is just for me. I think they have kept expectations, but it's been inconsistent. Like, if you look at Multiverse of Madness...
Yes.
It's like...
It's just inconsistent writing quality, I feel like, across the entire Phase 4 and even 5 at the minute.
Yeah. I think
really hitting that mark, I feel like.
I think baseline, it goes from great, like just so satisfying, like No Way Home, and then you've got Quantumania and Black Widow. You know what I mean? It's in
Yeah.
terms of quality, it's like you've got like the
And Love
amazing
and Thunder.
stuff. Yeah, it's like whilst I do quite enjoy Love and Thunder, you've got like Multiverse of Madness was amazing for its visuals, and then Love and Thunder they had to patch it, they had to make a patch for it and correct some of the CGI when it was on Blu-ray and
That's
Disney
the
Plus.
thing as well. A lot of the movies, like CGI or like things like getting like altered after they were initially released in cinema,
Yeah,
which I just don't like
It's,
as like an experience, you know?
yeah,
Like,
I mean,
it feels
like,
like MCU's been more corporate controlled these last few years than it ever has before.
yeah. I agree with that. I 100%
oh,
agree with that.
definitely.
Yeah,
And it's like with Quantumania, right? See, the use of CGI in that. Yeah, of course. Like they'd have to do, most of it would have to be like CGI of
Yeah.
all the weird shit that's happening. But you could at least put some more time into it if it's possible to make it look more visualizing.
oh
Should I
yeah,
say?
yeah. Like, have you seen on the planet Titan in Infinity War, or like of
Yeah.
Premiere? All of that was CGI. I mean, Quantumania is so jarring, and then you look over like I
It
think
looks like a very mess.
yeah.
in a way.
Honestly, I think Act 2 and 3 are fine. But I think the first act is so jarring to the point where it's just like I can't get invested in the story and the characters because I'm just staring at this mess. Honestly, do you know what I mean? It just looks like Play-Doh. But I think that best ones for me, that we're on about like quality going very inconsistent. I think the most consistent in terms of good quality recently, the ones that have felt like proper films, as being Wakanda Forever and Guardians 3. To be completely honest with you.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, Guardians 3, it shocked me how much I enjoyed it. I wouldn't say shocked, but I really enjoyed how much I enjoyed it compared to like some recent MCU stuff. Because I feel like, even though it has some like usual MCUisms, like the humour and all that, it had like what I feel like a lot of other movies had missed, which was like a heart at it. Like, Rocket Raccoon was obviously the heart of this movie, you know?
Yeah.
And they took it seriously. And they never really felt like it, like, it never did that thing where there was a serious moment and then there was a joke to like kind of balance it out.
Play it off.
Immediately after, like, Rocket wasn't dying and then like Peter Quill make a joke about something.
Yeah, or Drax
You know?
come in and be like, let's skin it and eat it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Like, it still had this kind of joke, but it felt more natural. Like, okay, I can expect these characters to do that.
Yeah. It was definitely considered. I don't know how much Jaden loved it, so I'll give him the floor in a second. But I think even though, because we know that James Gunn is like the top boy,
God.
top boy, right? Yeah,
Top dog.
yeah. We know Guardians 1 and 2. It's like the direction is so good that it just seeps into the background with his films, right? And with Guardians 3, you come in. Obviously, I think with I mean, I still love the MCU. It hasn't gone anywhere for me, but I think even I've noticed like a drop in quality in some places. But when it comes to Guardians, I wasn't expecting a drop at all. And
No, I was expecting it to be great, and it was.
yeah, I was expecting an amazing film, and yet I still came out surprised at how good it was.
Yeah.
Do you know
It
what I
really
mean?
felt like it pushed the boundaries of what the MCU has done before as well.
It was
Not
brilliant.
like to a major extent, but like Rocket's backstory is like really tragic. You know?
I know. I know.
It really,
Yeah.
really
Definitely.
devastating, and I'm surprised they even really showed a lot of the animal cruelty. Which I know some people complained about, but I didn't really have a problem with it, just because it really conveyed what James Gunn wanted to show us.
I completely agree with that. Again, I think I'm surprised that Disney let him get away with most, if not all, of Rocket's backstory.
Yeah.
When you agree, Jaden.
Oh, hell yeah. It's just like, especially like with these sort of movies, you would have like, obviously like animal cruelty and stuff like that. And then you'd have people complain saying, oh, I didn't like that. They shouldn't put that in there. But then you have other people, but if like a what if situation of if they didn't include that stuff or had like
It
a little
wasn't put
bit.
as hard.
Exactly. And then you'd have people complaining like, oh, well, how come, the high evolutionary is so sadistic and then they don't show anything where we want to see it? Where is it?
Yeah.
Mm.
100%.
So they can't win.
I think we've had we've had that a lot with past MCU villains. Why I think Gore and Kang were great, it was very much say not show. No, show not tell.
Yeah, especially in Quantum
Yeah.
Mania.
Tell not show, that's what I mean. Tell not show, yeah.
Yeah, especially in Quantum Mania, like, I never got the full scope of powers because, one, he got beaten by ants, and two, he kind of, like, died at the end. Which
Yeah.
I don't think is a really good thing to do.
Yeah.
When you have him as the big bad, like the
Mm.
next Thanos level threat, and he got beat by Ant-Man.
Yeah. I think Gore was an even bigger example of that, because while I think Christian Bale was a memorable villain, I just think if you just show on a monitor the things that Gore did, you know,
Yeah.
it doesn't hit. It's like if you in Rocket's backstories and they came into his workshop and there was like posters on the wall of what he did to Rocket. That does not hit equally as hard. You're just saying,
Yeah,
oh,
'cause I'm
Rocket
was
was
not seeing
tortured.
it.
Yeah, I'm not actually living that
Like, I'm
moment.
not seeing the High Evolutionary do that. I'm
Yeah.
being told he's done that.
Yeah, I know exactly what
And
you
it
mean.
was also, sorry, it was just I was like going back to the point of like, you know, how since Guardians 1, with nearly everyone's wanting to know, oh, so how has Rocket been tortured? How has he gone through all this stuff? We want to see it, and now we actually get to see it.
Yeah, yeah.
If that makes sense.
That makes complete sense. Yeah, I think because we've known Rocket for such a long time, and because it's been touched on ever so slightly about scientists that made you and how it was pulled apart and stuff like that. So it's like you get an understanding of how Rocket came to be Rocket, but you're even more shocked when you actually see it, because it's like you've grown to attach to Rocket anyways, because you know we've been with him for about like almost 9 years since Guardians 1. Think of that, 9 years.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wild.
And it's like you're already attached to Rocket, but even when you get to see that, I think now people are really starting to think, oh my god, Rocket is like top level MCU character, because he's like so well written in Guardians 3. You know what I mean? It's like everything, because the High Evolutionary, he is like, again, I'm so surprised that they actually showed a lot of what he did in Rocket's backstory. Like, he is like,
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
I wanted to smack him through the screen. I really did, honestly.
You know what I love about the High Evolutionary though?
Go on.
It's like they didn't really give him a backstory or like a really detailed reason why he's doing what he's doing, but he's still a great villain.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like, he's
for sure.
charismatic, he's threatening, well acted and well written, which I think just shows that not every villain needs to be like kind of like a Green Goblin or a Doc Ock where they have this like tragic backstory or something.
No, you just
Sometimes
need...
they can just be purely evil.
Yeah, I do love a purely evil villain. Yeah, because I think we don't get them a lot these days. So I think just having just some sadistic twatticus who is just he has pleasure just tearing animals apart. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, honestly, it's again, I'm shocked that Disney actually made
Yeah, this year's like the most anti-Disney movie ever. Like,
Yeah.
just in the way everything came together.
Yeah.
It was kind of weird.
Mm.
But I'm glad it did. And hopefully this shows Disney that people want to see the MCU go in this kind of direction a bit more mature, a bit more adult themes.
Yeah,
And
because
they're like not doing that.
the MCU I feel hasn't moved with its target audience. Because
No.
if you've got the people that used to watch, say, the Avengers back when it first came out, like us, you know, you still got kind of scenes. I was like with Gore, there wasn't really like any bloody scenes of him massacring gods or anything. Like, it was very like a kids bop
It was
Gore.
kind of cold.
It was just like, oh
Yeah.
yeah. But what I think was the best part about what they did with the High Evolutionary was what was I going to say now? It was very much they showed a lot of the actual gruesome parts of it as well, with
Oh, yeah,
with
sure.
the face coming off and him actually torturing people and him actually like shooting and just blowing up people's like innocent homes and stuff like that. And
Let
just,
alone blowing up
I
a
was
whole entire
surprised by
fucking
that.
planet.
yeah. Again,
He legitimately just committed genocide. He turned into the Death Star real quick to blow up a planet.
yeah.
Because
I
of
was
a
genuinely
one-
surprised by that.
Yeah.
All because of a single drug deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was it? It was like an octopus dealing. What was it? It was like an
Stealing, like,
octopus dealing
Weed
drug.
or meth or something.
Yeah, it was like
Yeah,
a.
it was definitely an octopus. I just can't remember what the other one was.
It was
I
like
don't
It was some
remember.
sort of
furry little things,
what
wasn't
do you
it?
call it? Yeah. But going back to, the whole adult thing, I am so glad I'm so happy about this. But if we're talking about scenes and stuff like that now, the very first use word fuck.
Oh, yeah.
That
That
made me.
was
Yeah.
that was great.
That made me
When I
laugh.
heard that they were going to have that in the movie, I assumed it would be like Peter Quill just saying to the High Evolutionary that he's going to fucking kill him or something. But no, it's just he's getting annoyed at Nebula not knowing how to open a car door. Which I think is perfect for Guardians of the Galaxy.
I remember going on Twitter the moment I came back from seeing it, and I saw someone's post, and they said it was a great film, but did anyone get really uncomfortable when they said the F word? I'm thinking, oh, shut the fuck up. Do you know what I mean?
You know what? Do you know what it reminds me of? Like this whole hopefully at Marvel trying to get to like a more adult orientated side
What's that?
is the fact that when Logan first came out in cinemas,
Oh, yeah.
like the way it was, everyone was like, okay, we're going to see this. I'll take my kids to go watch it. It's just an X-Men movie. It's okay. But no, the way they made that movie, it's like, you know what? You've been with us since the very beginning, since the very early 2000s, and we
Yeah.
are making this very, very adult orientated.
It was a treat.
Wasn't Logan R-rated as well?
It was
remember.
R-rated, yeah. It was like 15
Yeah.
in our country.
It was
Uh.
MA 15.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah.
At least
Okay.
I didn't have to. I was lucky. I couldn't see Deadpool when it came out, but I was able to go see Logan. But I couldn't say the same with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I had to sneak in to go see that.
Oh, I saw that.
Oh, did you? Oh, I wasn't old enough to go see it
Yeah,
at the time.
Because it was MA 15 here.
Oh,
Do you know what movie I didn't get to see
what's that?
when it came out? Thankfully, when it first came out, I didn't, because when it first came out, I was gonna go watch it. The what do you call it? The David Arbor front Hellboy movie.
Oh,
Oh.
that was
So I
dreadful.
wanted to go watch that with. I wanted to go watch that with my brother, right? And
Yeah.
we're like, yeah, okay, we'll go watch it. Didn't even realize it was R18, so I needed to be like I can't even though I was with an adult, I couldn't see it. So we just watched Shazam instead, which was such a great thing.
That was probably the better
That's
choice.
probably the better option.
That was probably
It
a
was
much better
yeah.
option.
After watching the Hellboy movie like a month after, I realized, yeah, I'm glad I didn't waste my money on that.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
Thing is, I like R-rated superhero movies, but I like movies that anyone can go see, but they push it a bit. So it's not like insanely gory, but they have like, they give they
Nice.
they make a villain just that more twisted. It's the one where they actually show him doing villain and stuff. Like it wasn't
Yeah.
just
Guardians, I think, is perfect middle ground for that type of stuff.
yeah,
You can take your family to see it, but it's also got something extra.
definitely.
For me, the High Evolutionary is, especially in like live action, is a villain you have to either commit to with all this, like showing the torturous things that he's
Yeah.
done, or you don't commit to it and you just ruin the whole fucking
Fall
movie.
apart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if you're doing Rocket's backstory, you've got to commit, and they did more than just commit, which leads me to this. How often, this is what I really, really appreciate about Guardians 3, is that how often do we really get many superhero movies where we get a moment to just sit and feel emotions with the characters? You know what I mean? It's like, how many times do you get that with Quantumania? Or just, you know what I mean?
True.
Yeah,
It's like they used to do this type of thing before, but ever since in recent years, they've kind of stopped. Their characters don't really talk about emotions. They just kind of make a joke about something and really move on to the
yeah,
next plot point.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
I
they do take a moment to talk about stuff.
yeah, because I
I
like.
shit you not.
Yeah, go on,
Sorry,
Jade. No,
you
go on.
go. You go for it.
Oh,
I was
Jade.
about to say I shit you not. I cried so many fucking times during this movie.
Especially,
I cried during like Rocket's quote unquote death.
did you really? Because
Yeah.
I got very teary-eyed at this is what I was saying. The bit where the audience really gets to sit and just has a moment of feels and emotions with the characters is when, especially when the high evolutionary just straight up shoots Lila. Like, dude,
Oh,
I was
yeah.
bawling.
dude, that ripped my heart out.
Like, you know it's coming, but when it happens, you're still like, fuck, man.
Yeah. It was like,
Yeah.
I think if it was Rocket's scream, is that how often do we get moments like that in superhero movies? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it was played completely straight as well. Like, Rocket just went through this traumatic experience again, and he just, like, lets out a big scream.
Oh,
Like, they didn't have that thing, like, they let him actually have emotions, whereas, like, usually I feel like they do that thing where they have, like, superheroes or characters, like, do that thing where they have a complete straight face, but they might have, like, one tear running down their face, but they're not, like, having any emotion, if you know what I mean.
yeah, like when
Yeah.
Like,
When
that
Jane
look.
Foster
But here, they
died,
just,
Thor just kind of sat there. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, bro, he was the love of your life for like 2 movies.
Honestly,
And then, like, now look at it, like, you've got, like, no emotion, pretty much.
that was honestly, yeah. That's when I think when that moment happened, I was like, oh my god, they're actually committing to like Rocket's tragic backstory because they straight up just killed his love interest. He's sitting there screaming, crying his eyes out, and the thing is that I hate the High Evolution. He's there making a mockery of it. Right, that's even how twisted the
Oh,
villain
that was
is.
so bad, but so good at the same time.
And then Rocky he just straight up just runs up and just claws his face off.
Mm.
And then after that, they just straight up just shoot and kill Teefs and Floor. Like,
Oh, no.
mental.
The thing that I found sad about with the extra, do you know, what's the name? Lila got shot. In the background, you could see Floor jumping around and screaming. I can't remember what she was saying exactly.
Rocket
But you
is
know,
Floor
it's
go
like she
now!
kind of,
Rocket is Floor go now!
yeah, it's kind of like she was
Yeah.
stuck in like that moment and just kind of couldn't move out of it.
Oh, it was
Do you know what else?
horrible.
Do you know what part really got me as well?
Go on then.
Rocket's first words.
Oh,
Hurts.
Yeah.
The way he just lets out the little hurts part. I'm like, God, that got me so bad.
That's
Oh,
what I'm
that was
saying.
funny.
It's like you get moments like that really stick with you, which makes films like that just all that more memorable. Do you know what I mean? It's like when you get moments like that.
Yeah. And then, kind of, like I mentioned another part that sort of got me, but it's not related to Rocket.
What's that?
yeah. Go on.
So, in my notes, because I've got like 10 notes here for like the movie and stuff like that, it is titled Drax the Dad.
Uh-huh.
When
Oh,
Mantis
yeah, I know what you're
goes,
talking
you're
about.
not a destroyer, you're a father.
Oh. Oh, do you know,
At that moment, I was like,
relate
oh
to
my
Drax.
God.
Do you know when Mantis said he was stupid and Drax got
Yeah.
really upset? He's like, "You think I'm stupid?"
Yeah,
Like that
I was
genuinely
like,
emotional.
I
Unless you active memory.
I think that they did considering there's so many characters in the Guardians film, especially this one, I think they did such a good job with giving every character great complete
Something to
arcs
do.
in this film. Everyone has something to do. It didn't feel like say for example Drax didn't have anything to do. He was just there. You got
Yeah,
more.
no one felt like window dressing.
No, everyone felt like they
Everyone
had
felt like they're part of the team and like
everyone
a
had
character.
everyone had a reason to be there, and I think that was genius on James Gunn because there's so many films recently where or just superhero films where you get someone who they just don't have anything to do and they're just there in the background.
Yeah, like Wasp and Quantumania just kind of felt like she
Yeah.
didn't really do anything in that movie.
Because I want my
Yeah.
characters to have arcs and something to do and a reason to be in that film. And considering he had so many characters going around, I think James Gunn did honestly such a great job.
It
Obviously,
really gives me hope for his DCU as well.
oh my
like-
god, yeah.
'Cause,
Christ
like, I remember
almighty.
before this film came out, it was like, well, we're going to see if James Gunn still has it. If if this movie's going to be good, it's going to be great for DCU. If it's going to be crap, it's going to be like, he's in charge of the DCU. But like, this movie that came out turned out to be great. Balanced all his characters really well. Really makes me wonder how he'll handle a Justice League movie as well.
I have hope.
If like
Oh, for
every
sure.
character gets something to do.
Yeah, I have so much hope for James Gunn to do soon, especially if he's doing Superman Legacy. The thing is, I don't know why people doubt James Gunn anyways, because he's like hasn't slipped once. You know what I mean? He hasn't slipped once. I think because he has so many good heart-to-heart moments with characters in, specifically this film, and I think Peacemaker was great with that. I don't see how anyone. Peacemaker was honestly, it was brilliant. I want to rewatch it. I don't see how anyone can doubt his ability to write and direct for Superman Legacy. That makes me excited.
Yeah.
If you've got James Gunn over your cinematic universe, you're set. Period.
Yeah.
You're in good hands.
You're in great hands.
No, hang on, no. Yeah, I was about to say, no, not good hands, great hands.
Great hands. There we go.
But honestly, there are so many parts in this movie. Like, I've still got like heaps of notes I want to talk about.
One thing I did want to touch on, but I do
Okay.
appreciate how they didn't have Peter and Gamora get back together. Like,
Yes.
I feel like a lesser movie would have done that, but because this is a great movie, it didn't do that, and it would have felt really cheap and unwarranted if they did get together. I'm glad they ended the movie not.
Yeah.
I reckon, James Gunn has said this, is that he had plans for Gamora, but ever since I think the Russos had to borrow Gamora for the Soul Stone in Infinity War, which I think, everything they did with Gamora in Infinity War, I think all that was brilliant. Obviously, I think James Gunn, that kind of threw a wrench in his plans, but I really like the idea that he explored the whole point of, you've got this past relationship, and they don't kind of recognize each other in that past relationship, but they're kind of different people, and how Star-Lord and Gamora kind of had to move on from each other. I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah, because particularly what you were just saying about how this kind of threw a wrench in James Gunn's plan, given that this was something like he didn't want to do, and he just kind of had to deal with it, he did really fucking well with it, I feel like. And I feel like, again, it did make for a better movie in the end.
I think it did. I really think it did. Especially because Jamie, you gotta say something. Sorry. I feel like I keep cutting Jaden off in this call.
I was about to say, speaking of like the Soul Stone and stuff like that, did you see that interview with James Gunn? How he pretty much said that for the first Guardians movie, it pretty much took him like 90 minutes just to write the entire history of the MCU Infinity Stones.
I saw that. That is such a flex. Isn't it really? That
was pretty funny.
That's brilliant. I think that's that. I saw that and I was like, there's no way. I thought that'd just be like a...
I was like, nah.
Because I've read it in the comics. I thought that there was like something that Kevin Feige and everything they all just set up on. You know what I mean? I didn't realize that was something that he just did in like an afternoon.
And I'm gonna miss James Gunn in the MCU.
Yeah, me too.
Me too.
I'm just because everyone for whatever reason was just not happy with Star-Lord. Everyone was like, oh, he's bottom tier MCU character. I think people these days, they just switch up on things so quick. It's like the MCU was like amazing after Endgame, and then like...
I think what happened was, we didn't get a Guardians movie since Infinity War and Endgame, and Peter didn't really do too much in those movies. So I think people forgot how much they actually liked him as a character until this movie.
Yeah. I think it was...
what I'm glad they touched on though?
What's that?
How in Guardians 3, how they touched on that Peter pretty much fucked up, and that's why half the universe got obliterated. Because he was like, yeah, and I messed up.
Yeah, I'm happy you actually mentioned that. Yeah, but I feel like he had quite a bit to do in Infinity War. I like that, but I feel like just people just in general these days, they just switch up on things. Yeah, I mean,
there's definitely like some kind of weird thing where people like swap between things these days. I love this. No, I hate it. No, I love it again. No, I hate it again.
Yeah, I think that doesn't help because you get various... I'm not calling out anyone specifically here, but you get various channels where they're like, oh my god, the MCU is dying! Brackets, is this
Red
the
letters.
end? Yeah, and it's just like, oh god.
Right, then they have like those photoshopped faces of like the main star and the crime.
Yeah, honestly, it really winds me up, because that'd be for anything. It really winds me up. They'd be like, oh my god, Spider-Verse is going to bomb, Blackett's people hate Black Spider-Man. Like, no, you've making that up. It's projected to make more than the first one, and people love Miles. What are you talking about, you ignorant twit? Do you know what I mean? It's like some people just really frustrate me.
It's really annoying, especially when it's so obvious they're making up. Like, you and me constantly talk about Mike Zero, that Star Wars content creator.
Yeah.
And he makes up so much stuff. Like, Daisy Ridley fired by Kathleen Kennedy. You wouldn't believe it.
Yeah, even though she's getting her own movie in
And
about
then she
3
gets hired
years.
as the next.
No, dude, she's fired. You don't understand.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What happened? Yeah.
come on, guys. It's
It's a fake announcement.
What happened to that Mace Windu movie that he was apparently fired from and brought back, and it was anyway, we'll leave that. But I think, because I think, I'll go back onto Star-Lord, I think he's always been probably top boy MCU characters for me, just like top tier, right? Because I've always loved Star-Lord since Guardians 1, right? Infinity War guys, amazing, right? I think this one, because I get really, whenever a new character has a new movie or something, I get really anxious when it comes to their art, because I want everything to be consistent. You know what I mean? So I'm so glad that he actually had so much to do in this, and actually they resolved that whole Gamora conflict with him as well. It was such a beautiful way with how it was essentially just two people kind of, they don't recognize each other in a relationship, and that was kind of how it was being treated. It wasn't this whole multiverse thing about this different variant. It was very much about, like I said, just two people in a relationship falling apart of it, and how Star-Lord eventually has to deal with that the entire film. And I love how the soundtrack reflects that so well, because you've got the soundtrack in Guardians in general is just amazing, right? But
always has been.
Yeah, always has been. Yeah, I think the soundtrack for this one in particular, the songs aren't as just, there's not like as electric and just look at me songs. It's very much kind of quiet, very much just dramatic songs. There's still bangers in there, but I feel like a lot of the songs in this are very much do you know what I mean? They're not like dance party songs. This one is very much dramatic, kind of just chill music.
Well,
I think
it matches the tone of the movie.
I think that.
when you really sorry.
Good.
When you like really look at it, each movie has their own like sort of a song theme. So like say with the first one, right? Like with Peter and how they're all together, it's more like, old songs like 70s, 80s songs that Peter like really grew up on and stuff like that. And then you got the second movie, how it's more electric, how it's more it pretty much has the like power to it, and it appeals to so many scenes in the second movie. But then you get the third movie, which has more like darker themes and more like it's more emotional, more sad, and that's when you have the slower songs, and then you have the more emotional songs. But then it picks up at the end. And then you get the happy songs.
That's a good way of looking at it, actually.
You also get "Come and Get Your Love," which is pretty much the last song for a scene, and it just caps it all off.
That's a good way of looking at it, actually.
If you get what I mean.
I get exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
I like that, actually.
So,
I think it's great. I've been non-stop listening to just the soundtrack ever since I got my license. Non-stop in the car these past few weeks, just been non-stop just Guardians for your soundtrack, because that's what you want from a movie. You want a soundtrack to be memorable. I can't remember anything from that first Suicide Squad movie. This one, brilliant.
When a soundtrack is memorable as well, you remember specific scenes in the movie because of the song being memorable. Which I think is what James Gunn does so geniusly.
Yeah.
Is that a word?
Yeah, no, that works
sure.
for me. Yeah, I think especially whenever I think of, say if I'm listening to "Come and Get Your Love," I instantly think of that scene. Or I always just, if I listen to one of the songs from the Guardians movies, I always match it from that scene from the film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes you think of it.
Yeah.
I've got a few notes here, like I said before.
He's made notes.
Should I just read them all out?
Yeah.
Should I just read them all out, and then we can just pick on some to
Go on
talk
then.
about?
Go on then.
Possibly?
Yep.
Alright, so I've got New Guardians. Obviously the New Guardians of the Galaxy group.
Oh yeah.
Rocket realizing he's a raccoon and then him just like saving the smaller ones, the baby raccoons.
Oh,
that was the best thing.
That was a good one, yeah.
One thing we might talk about as well, the amount of death teasers they had. in this.
True.
Like, I'm pretty sure they teased that nearly every main character in this was gonna die.
Mainly
They were very
Peter
close
and
to
Rocket,
killing
I felt
off.
like.
Yeah. And then we're like, oh, never mind, he's alive. Well, they're alive.
Yeah.
Another one, our main man Yondu returning for a bit.
Oh yeah, for that split second, but it was
That
still a
was
great split
that,
second.
that, it was still it was the not the best, but it was one of the best split
And one of
seconds.
Dragon's best moments, I feel like.
Groot saying "I love you guys," but it was actually us finally understanding now because we were part of their own family.
I love the fact that Jane has made notes, and I haven't even made notes. He was
I
prepared
was
for
going
this.
to when I didn't.
He was late, and he even made notes. Do you want to take over, Jaden? Sorry, go on.
And my last note, the whole Rocket and Lila scene. If you get what I know, you'll get what I'm talking about when I say it. How pretty much reminisces Deadpool 2. How,
True.
you know,
Yeah.
Rocket's like pretty much he's flatlined, he's dead. He goes into this limbo sort of world and he sees Lila and he's like, yeah, I'm ready to go with you now. I'm ready to go with you and the others. And she's like, no, not yet. And he gets pulled back into reality.
Yeah.
So much like Deadpool 2.
Can I just say something I find pretty funny? Not about me, but about us. We've been talking about all these great scenes and how all the characters get something to do, and Jaden's written down notes, but not one of us has mentioned Adam Warlock.
Oh my god, we haven't.
Oh, well,
We haven't.
no, because that was going to be leading off the new Guardians, because I was going to mention Adam Warlock then.
Can we touch on that
I was
line
gonna
for a
say-
second before we go Adam Warlock? So
Yeah.
I want to talk about that scene.
Talk about,
The bit where Rocket's essentially in like little heaven. How sad that was. Where
Oh, yeah.
he meets
Oh,
Lila in
fuck,
heaven, and then at the back you see Teeves and Flawless rock up, and it's like I can't even believe that again. Okay, Bradley Cooper, insanely good performance in this film. He's always good as Rocket, but this one it's like
Very good.
it's like up there with like Gollum performance, like Rocket like live action CG character. He's definitely up there as one like the best characters ever,
Yeah.
right? And then you've got everyone just surrounding by his table, just trying to bring her back to life, and it's just so sad. It's like I can't even believe that a raccoon is one of the best characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. You know what I mean? It's like scenes like this. Sometimes I think this is incredible, but I can't even believe that this even exists. Sometimes watching this film, it's like it's that good. We've got a scene where a talking raccoon, is talking to his dead otter girlfriend while they're like in heaven, yeah. And it's like it sounds ridiculous, but it's directed so well. It really is directed absolutely. It's
acted so well, written so well.
Oh, it was absolutely brilliant. I thought it was excellently directed in this film. I think James Gunn went all out in the direction of this film.
Yeah, he did not hold back.
Can I
He was like,
just start off, when we're ready, start off on the topic of Adam Warlock, because I have something to say
Should we do it now? Let's do it now.
Yeah.
Let's do it now. Go
about
ahead.
the character.
Yeah.
Okay, when people say that, obviously, the people who have seen this movie, they say, a lot of them will say, Adam Warlock was, underutilized. Oh, he was, not that great of a character. He was pretty useless most of the time. First of all, he wasn't really useless. He packed a fucking heavy punch. Second of all, if you listen to one of the scenes, you understand why he's pretty much dumb, because he released out of the cocoon early.
yeah, he's got a mentality of a child.
Dude was funny as
Yeah.
fuck. Dude was hilarious.
I
Oh, hell
like
yeah.
him. I do just wish he had more to
I
do.
like him.
Like, I felt like at the end, they're all like beat up on the High Evolutionary. I thought he was going to be part of that scene. But I did like where they chose to have him like save Peter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can definitely
whole-
tell with when James was writing this film, James Gunn, because I think he mentioned this, that he struggled writing
Yeah.
Adam Warlock into the plot, because you can very see how I could be fine without Adam in this film, but I like having him in there because it was set up in Guardians 2. But you can
Yeah.
you can tell that he actually
Absolutely.
struggled writing him in this.
Adam Warlock, it feels like you could draw that plot line and you don't really lose much. Like, the biggest thing he does is save Peter and hurt Rocket.
Rocket at the start,
But
yeah.
hurt and Rocket, I think you could have easily had that being like a bounty hunter or one of the animals that the High Evolutionary sent, because it was High Evolutionary that sent Adam Warlock to go get Rocket Raccoon at the very beginning anyway.
Yeah.
Like, you
Well,
can definitely
technically
tell that there was a struggle to get Adam in this movie.
Technically, if you think about it, the High Evolutionary did make Adam Warlock because he did create the Sovereign, who
Yeah,
also
no, I'm
created
about,
Adam
like,
Warlock.
the
So
little animal boys there.
yeah, I know. Yeah, I understand what you mean. Yeah,
Although I am excited to see more of Adam in the MCU.
Me too. Yes, there's something wrong
Oh.
with me. I've been stabbed, you
Do you know-
extraordinarily phallus. It just yanks him against the wall.
I don't actually like that, how that makes me feel.
what does he say? What does he say when Gamora's got the knife to like that creature? What does he say?
Don't be rash.
Oh yeah, that was
He's like,
funny.
don't be rash.
Well-
But touching back on what we were talking about before with James Gunn and the DC, like his version of his, not version because it is his now. What I'm excited to see with James Gunn's DC universe, the movies, is the flight, because Adam Warlock flying, especially in that scene when the whole fucking planet's blowing up.
Mother!
That flight, the whole flight, just, oh my god, it was so visualizing and so just fucking epic. I'm so excited to see like Superman do that sort of stuff.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like you
It's
just
just
think... Oh, sorry, you go, Robert. Go.
I was going to say, because like, James Gunn's been talking about Superman Legacy and Superman as a character. It really does feel like he understands Superman as like a character and as a person. So I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, I am. Because, again, I don't know why anyone would doubt James anyways, because he's... Whatever movie he's tackling, he's always just done the best job that he can do. His direction, honestly, he is like one of the... He'll, in the next few years, he'll be like he'll be like the Christopher Nolan of comic book movies. He probably,
Probably,
I mean, he
yeah.
is at the minute. He's like just insanely good at what he does. He's writing and his, because if he's writing and directing Superman Legacy and probably a majority of what's going on in the
I think he's
DCEU,
confirmed both, hasn't he?
yes, he's done both, and I think he'll like pass producer. But I think this is what excites me the most. Is I think Feige's brilliant as the big runner of the MCU. But what excites me the
Yeah.
most about the DCEU is because you've got a filmmaker running the whole thing. Now, as a filmmaker
That's true.
and writer running the whole thing, obviously they're going to be wanting... I mean, that's like a filmmaker running the entire thing is what I'm saying. So you've obviously got a filmmaker's vision, not a producer's vision. That's what excites me the most.
Yeah,
And-
that's the thing as well. It does feel like the DC
And
might be less
yeah.
of a corporate thing and more of a like creative-driven thing.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And yeah, going back to what you were touching on, Finn, not only is he a filmmaker, but he is a filmmaker who in the most recent of years has mainly done comic book movies.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if he takes the lead on that, he is going to be fucking phenomenal.
Yeah. It's an exciting time. You know, it's like we finally got a good MCU well, I say good MCU project. I think they've all been pretty good the last few years, but I think that we found a diamond here. We found a little gem that everyone's going to start coming back to the MCU and everyone's going to start breathing in again, and it's going to be brilliant because I know that they've been pushing back projects to give them more room to breathe, more room to just, more time to just blossom. I know that Echo as they pushed that back for quite a while, because they want to.
That's dropping on the same day now, isn't it?
Yeah, everyone's dropping on the same day because they want to make sure they get that right. I know they've pushed back the Marvels to get better VFX because I don't know why Quantumania was released in February, because who was itching to see an MCU movie so early on in the year in February? Do you know what I mean? It's like I would have been completely fine just release it back in May or something like that and have Guardians in July. I don't think anyone was itching for an MCU movie so early on, but I'm happy that they're starting to finally listen and just acknowledge, we're shoving these projects out too early. so that they're
Yeah,
giving
like, I
them.
think that's been one of the biggest problems with the MCU as well, is pushing out projects too early, half finished,
Yeah,
and then patching them up before they're released on DVD.
definitely last year. Definitely last
Mm.
year.
I think that's been one of the
Uh,
major turn-offs of the MCU as of late, is all that
Yeah,
pushing things out too early.
yeah. Do you know what I do want to say about Guardians 3, this one, right? Or just not just this film, but just the whole trilogy in general. It feels like, well, obviously James has written all three films. It feels like one of the only MCU trilogies to have a planned start and finish.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like they're just making. It doesn't feel like James Gunn has ever just made stuff up as he's gone along.
No.
So like, even though he's like had to change plans, obviously, it's still ultimately this was about
Yeah.
Rocket's backstory. Like, it'd been really awful if in Endgame or Infinity War Rocket died, and James Gunn just never got to like do this type of story that he wanted to do.
Oh, could you imagine? I'd be pissed if I was him. That would be
Yeah.
so disappointing.
well, apparently in another interview and stuff like that, he wasn't really happy with how they utilized Peter in Infinity War and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I thought that as well.
Yeah. Which
But,
I like him. I like Star-Lord in the Avengers films. I really do.
Oh yeah,
But I can see
Yeah.
as a writer why he'd think that.
Yeah.
yeah. And it was like what you were saying before, like, you know, with the first and second movie, how they came out, everyone's thinking, okay, this is going to be a trilogy about Star-Lord, you know, Peter Quill.
Mm.
But then after watching this third movie, and then, you know, and then rewatching the others, you realize, no, this is actually a trilogy about Rocket and his
Well, yeah, because James Gunn
like
said
his
before
terrible
how, like,
past and stuff like that.
yeah, James Gunn said before how like Rocket is the secret protagonist of the Guardians film, and he said that like I think years before this movie ever came out or started filming. So it's like he's
Oh,
that's
yeah.
like another reason how like he's had this plan for a very long time. It just took him a long time to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't believe it's almost been 9 years since Guardians 1. That's surreal to me. That makes me feel ancient. I was 12 when that came out.
What year was it?
I would.
2014.
Yeah, I was 13.
Damn.
I actually rewatched it the other day.
Oh, did
God,
you?
it still holds up.
I rewatched 2 before watching this one, and I think I love 2 because of the action scenes, and I didn't think they could top them until I saw. I haven't brought this up yet, but the freaking hallway scene in the final battle.
Hallway
yeah.
scene
Holy
and just the
shit!
music.
Oh,
Well, not everyone. There's a people like who was talking to me about it that said, "Oh, they could have done without the Beastie Boys song." You can't go wrong with the Beastie Boys song,
No,
especially when in a scene like that.
it
It needed it.
it was
It
such
was
a needle
great.
drop.
I loved it.
It was such a needle drop, and thing is, in that fight, everyone got their own moment, and it was like one take, and it was like you had no right to go that hard with your fight scene. You could have just had them run around in like a space battle or something, and we would have eaten up anyways. It had no right to go as hard as it did. The music, it was like I gobsmacked. I was not expecting that in the cinema at all. I was like, hang on a second, is this peak? Is this peak cinema right now? This is insane.
Like Luigi being like, it's a cinema.
It is a cinema.
Do you know what? Do you know what really like made me happy as well?
What's that?
When Kraglin just came in with the whole entire fucking head of nowhere.
Yeah.
The final battle was like amazing.
He was just like, God, I'm so like this movie just makes me so fucking happy.
I think
I
it
really
was.
It's definitely one of those movies I'm going to rewatch a lot.
Yeah, me too.
I can't say about a lot of movies as of recently.
I'm
but this
rewatching
is
it
one
this
that's on
weekend.
Are you actually? I'm
seeing
seeing.
it. I'm seeing it again with my parents this weekend.
Oh, good lad. I always, whenever I think of this film, it's like with a lot of superhero movies, I always go back and think about the fight scenes, stuff like that. But with this one, I always go back and think about the character moments, especially like we said,
Mm.
Rocket and Star-Lord. But I was pleasantly freaking surprised with how Nebula was essentially
I just
talking
like to bring
like,
them up.
yeah, she
Yeah.
was like the mother role of the team, and she just fit in just so seamlessly into the Guardians family. Because obviously the Guardians, you view them as a family since day one, right? But this one, it genuinely,
Yeah.
it really felt that you felt the
This had
time.
that family dynamic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you felt the dynamic in this one like so much.
You know what moment I think really showed Nebula's growth? I think it was when Gamora went to punch Quill and Nebula blocked the punch.
Yeah. Or it was when she was
So
tucking
I think
Yes.
that's
Star-Lord
a
in.
great moment. Yeah.
One of my all-time favorite parts of this movie as well, and I'm glad they did this. They brought back my homie Howard the Duck.
Oh, I was so happy when I saw him.
Me too.
I was like,
Oh
oh my
my-
god. We've got another Howard Duck trilogy, sort of. Oh,
He's been
I'm
in
so
all
happy.
of them,
This is
hasn't
gonna
he?
yeah, he has. This is gonna sound so stupid, but I really want this to happen. Either in
he's the
Kang
leader of the next
Dynasty,
Guardians team.
either in Kang Dynasty or Secret Wars. I want I want the new Guardians team to show up, right? So,
Yeah.
cool. But then I also want Howard the Duck to show up as well.
And he defeats Kang.
He just
I
he
think
just
that was
like because
brilliant.
okay, here's a what if situation. This is gonna be fucking bonkers, but it's gonna be so fucking cool. What if Kang Dynasty, right? It's the Kang Dynasty movie. They're all having a massive fight and stuff like that. The new Guardians comes in, and obviously this is more adult orientated. Okay, Kang just like fucking is like not killing everyone, but he's like wounding a lot of them,
Mm.
and he's standing above everyone like all fierce and stuff like that. Next minute, how the Duck just blows a hole right through his fucking chest, and he just, and it's like. And it's honestly like the scene in Flashpoint how, Flashpoint Batman just kills Reverse
shoots
Flash.
through
You
the
can
Flash,
see
yeah.
Batman in through the bullet hole.
You know what?
Oh, that's
I'd love a Howard the Duck special presentation, to be completely honest.
please,
Yeah,
please,
on
please, please. I need
think
that right
I'm surprised that hasn't been announced yet or anything like that, because that would be perfect. That would be
I've been saying
brilliant.
it. We need another Howard Duck movie trilogy.
You do. You've been saying every time we do a podcast, he brings this up, doesn't he? Every single time. It's always he's got this obsession with this little duck fella. He loves him.
He's such a meme.
He loves him. I love how he was in Endgame. I don't know where this cast has gone. It's just gone to Duck. It always ends up going back to this little Duck. It really does, doesn't
What
it?
if Howard Duck versus Kangaroo the Conqueror?
Oh my god,
I still can't believe.
the Animal Avengers.
I still can't believe when we were doing our Endgame. No, it was our Loki
remember what it
season
was.
Loki season 1 cast, and
Yeah.
one of us made a joke about Kangaroo the Conqueror, and then
was
Jaden
ma-
looks it up.
Real.
And then Jaden looks up
I
and it was
looked
a real
up,
one.
and I saved some images and I sent it to you guys because it's the real fucking thing.
I've got
We
it.
nearly got him in that Quantum Mania post-credit scene.
Could you imagine if we
I
see him
said
in
it
Kang
would be
Dynasty?
nearly.
Could you actually imagine if we see him in Kang
I would
Dynasty?
have freaked out.
Would have
You
been
know what would be
hilarious.
really funny in Kang
Oh, no.
Dynasty? If Kangaroo the Conqueror like shows up in Kang Dynasty, right, and then Howard the Duck just kills him.
Are you going to voice him,
I'll-
Jaden? Kangaroo the Conqueror, you're going to be voicing him? Little Australian fella there in the credits.
Give me Marvel's email right now. I'll fly over there if I have to voice voice Kangaroo the Conqueror.
It'd be great, wouldn't it really? Just sitting there waiting at the premiere and just see Jaden's name in the credits. Just this little kangaroo. Oh, it'd be brilliant.
Kangaroo the
I can just imagine like you two like in cinemas just watching it. The credits roll up. You see my name. It's like, oh yeah, I know that guy. I know that guy.
I know him. I know him.
Can you imagine it's like
I'm
an
going to be
interview?
Oh my
disappointed when this doesn't happen.
This has got off the fucking rails, and I love it.
They're like interviewing her. So what made Marvel approach you for the role of Kangaroo the Conqueror? Well, I'm Australian.
Oh
I
god.
So,
approached them.
No, do you know what? Do you know if I get interviewed for it? Do you know what I should just do? just clip that part out of the that Loki podcast that we did. Clip that small clip out and just show them that,
Just
This
show
is
them
laughing
that.
at Kangaroo the Conqueror.
and just go,
It's
"Yep,
just
that's right here.
clip.
That's right here. That's how it all started."
just link in the Discord and just be like, yeah, we actually created this character. It's an original. Yeah, Marvel's paying
Yeah.
us.
They have to pay.
It
It's
is
copyright
just a
tax,
shitty Photoshop of Kangaroo the Conqueror.
We've
With
just short,
Jaden's face,
with
but
Jaden's
that's
face put on it. Yeah. I've
Okay.
missed this. I've missed this. Guardians 3. This is brilliant.
Okay, I'm definitely gonna do a Photoshop of this now.
You do it now. I'll stick it on the thumbnail. I'll tell you what. I think Guardians 3 is top tier MCU, and I know that we always say that when a new thing comes out, but it's like not just top tier MCU, but I think just top tier comic book movies in general because of how memorable it is, you know. And I always come back to Wakanda Forever. I love that film. I love Wakanda Forever so much, and I was like, since then I was like, please give me more MCU movies with emotional beats like this, and I did, and please replicate that for Daredevil Born Again, or Feige, I will be in your walls. So just warning you there. Just warning you there.
Quick question.
Yep.
Who do you think's more terrifying, a High Evolutionary or Kang, out of this moment in time?
High Evolutionary, because you actually see what he does,
Yeah.
and it's not implied, and Kang isn't like a wife beater in real life, apparently, which allegedly we'll probably leave it at that. We might get in trouble.
No.
That's just the alternate Kang.
Hang on. The last MCU thing that we did was
She-Hulk.
She-Hulk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we missed a few. We've been busy, but the boys are back. The boys are indeed back.
We are back.
And I don't know if you noticed, but during the She-Hulk podcast, I just was not into it, because I just was not into the show too much.
Yeah.
Oh, I
But
noticed.
yeah.
I heard. I noticed.
Yeah, it was since episode
Yeah.
2. I'd be like, Robert, what was your opinion on this? I liked it, and that'll be it. That's all you'd get out of
Yeah.
him for that session. That's all. That's as much
I
effort
just
you'd get.
found stuff, like, with certain stuff I'm like, oh, that's kind of interesting, I guess. But with other stuff, I'm just like, if it was like a really C-tier sitcom, which I know it's meant to be a sitcom, but it didn't have to be C-tier. You know?
Yeah.
It could have been better.
Because I found the episode Kangaroo the Conqueror. I found it.
Oh, you really? You gotta send that to me later on. That's brilliant.
I need to clip it. I need to find where it was and just clip it.
It's almost as if we've gone off air now, isn't it? I don't know what's happening here. We're just talking utter nonsense.
There isn't usually like a post-cast talk.
But at this point, the viewers, yeah, just Filmmakers Unleashed, after party.
I mean, I'm so tempted to like see if I can make a Patreon for it. If you know what I mean, like make a Patreon just for, you know, Filmmakers Unleashed.
Well, people pay us to
And
talk
just-
absolute nonsense. They get
No,
they get
people
that
pay
they
us.
get that here for free, Jaden. They get that here for absolute free. But at this point, they've turned it off. They've gone out. They're doing anything but.
Oh well, we've had a good chat, eh, boys?
We've had a brilliant little chat. Thanks everyone for listening. I think it's time I go pop a little pair of pants on because I'm still
Yeah, you need to put some
still in my shower
clothes on,
gear.
boy.
Yeah, I need to. I can't believe I'm sat there doing this whole cast, literally like, well, not naked, but like just. I'm looking at myself and I'm like a little shriveled up. I look like a Voldemort from the Deathly Hallows. You know what? I think this is time should let's end it now. Let's end it. Yeah. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's end it now.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Goodbye, Robert. Get out of here.
Goodbye, everyone. Shout out for my uncle to sing Guardians 3 with me. See you later, everyone.